Alright guys, so this is Stephen Lee once again, and I actually wanted to make this video to basically just respond to like a lot of the conservatives, the ones who say, oh, we gotta start reaching out to more LGBTQ voters, or like the conservatives who during the recall election for Gavin Newsom were like, oh yeah, let's vote for Caitlyn Jenner, let's like play the left's own game against them. I'm like, my response would be like, first of all, shut up. Second of all, this whole pandering to LGBTQ voters, it's literally not going to work. Like, why would we as conservatives focus on like trying to like mostly reach out to people who have like mostly like liberal tendencies or liberal values and are mostly going to vote Democrat? And I know probably some of you guys are gonna argue like, oh, but look at the Hispanics, or the Asians or blacks. You don't say that about like them and they vote. You say we can reach out to those voters, but they vote Democrat, so shouldn't we reach out to them all? I'm like, first of all, the GOP needs to reach out to demographics, to voter demographics that are really like useful on like the key issues, such as, preserving the traditional values, pro small business, business, and even like religious values, and even like basically like we gotta reach out for voter demographics that really hit on the issues that we are trying to solve, like in this country, where we have our strengths in pro small business, pro family values, a lot of these other things. Why would we try to like abandon our core base of like white working class Christian voters, and even some like the socially conservative like Latino families who grew up in like traditional households? Like, why would we want to abandon that base to do like only 2 to 3% better with people who mostly vote Democrat, who are Democratic electorates? And also another thing too, like, the reason why I'm against this whole like this whole strategy of like the GOP trying to reach out and like pander to LGBTQ voters to get them on their side, it's because like if we were to go on pandering to LGBTQ voters, then we would have to compromise some of our core values and adopt like more like liberal stances, which makes us like not conservative. We would be compromising some of our values, and like it's not okay. It's like, if liberals can stay true, if liberals can just draw people in by just preaching their ideas, then like conservatives need to start doing the same. It's like, you cannot like I repeat, conservatives cannot beat the left by becoming the left. In other words, we can't just like start adopting like some liberal stances in order to like win elections. Like, if like the GOP, if much of the modern GOP is so set on like trying to compromise some of our core conservative values in order to like get people on our side to win elections, it's like, I'm not gonna be down for that. It's like, as a conservative myself, it's like I would much rather we like keep our values and stay true to our values than like win elections without them. And yeah, to all of you guys, like all y'all that are still saying like, oh, we want Caitlyn Jenner, we want Bruce Jenner to be elected to like whatever position, like governor or president, whatever. I mean, bro, literally, are you asking like for a transgender person to be the face of like our conservative movement? Really? What is so conservative about being transgender? What is so conservative about like just two guys making out, or kissing each other, or like two women doing the same thing? What is so conservative about a person wanting to change his or her gender just because he or she feels like they're like the opposite gender, the gender that's like opposite to them? Really, I do not understand. It's like, In other words, like, and I will even post a link to like one of the videos I watched by this guy named Vince Dow. It's called "I'm Tired of Woke Conservatives," and he nails it very well on why like conservatives need to stop pandering to the LGBTQ voters. It's like, and another thing too, it's like LGBTQ voters, they only make up like a small percentage of like the overall American like population. In other words, like they're gonna make very little to no impact on like the elections. So overall, like my conclusion is for our conservative movement, and even for like the GOP, stop trying to like abandon your core base. Stop trying to like, pander to everybody to get them on your side. Like, even if that means like, giving up our values. No, that is not how we win elections. The best way to win an election is to do everything you can to keep the core base of white, working class Christian voters, and even the socially conservative, like traditional Latino voters. Like, reach out to if you're gonna reach out to minorities, reach out to the Latinos. Like, white working class Christian voters and Latino voters, they are actually the ones. They are the demographics that stick with the issues, that make up the issues that the conservative movement can ever strengthen, like when it comes to pro small business, pro religious liberty, and even just like the working class appeal, like stick with those. Try to focus on like reaching out to those like demographics, and even to a small extent, like try to reach out maybe to some Asian groups as well. But like, we gotta stick with the demographics that make up the majority of issues that we believe in as conservatives. And even too, like, the reason why I say like, oh, let's reach out to Latino voters, it's also not just because there's pro small business, but it's also because they are pro family values. Like, yes, even though a lot of the Latinos that live in America, they vote majority Democrat, I get it. It's like the GOP has literally fed people the wrong message. Like, the establishment GOP, they want to keep on focusing on like repeating the same old talking points of, we gotta have smaller government, fighting socialism, preserving free market. It's like, believe it or not, a lot of the Latinos, they've grown up in like traditionally social conservative households. Like, they're not really just like appeal, they're not like entirely impressed by like, the same old GOP talking points of like, just trying to solve only the fiscal issues, but then leave out the social issues. No, you need both fiscal and social issues to win. And that's why I believe that Latinos, they have traditional roots. They have just as much as traditional roots as like the white working class Christian voters. So we got to reach to demographics that really hit on the key issues that we believe in. And so I want to say to the GOP and to like our conservative movement, stop trying to pander to LGBTQ voters. And stop trying to prop up these quote unquote LGBTQ conservatives to like quote unquote play the left at their own game. Like, it's not gonna work. And I want to say to the establishment GOP, if you really claim to be all for conservatism, if you claim to be all for conservative values, please prove it. Just stop compromising to the left and actually listen to your constituents, listen to your voters, listen to them when they try to make the appeals to you on why it's important that we conserve the values that made America great in the first place. So anyways, I'm Stephen Lee. I hope you all have an amazing day. God bless you all, and God bless America.